Robin Slim Show.
Hello. Hey, this is John. How's it going?
John Cueller. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing okay. Can you hear me, or is my connection really shitty?
You sound good, dude.
You sound fine.
Sounded right, dude.
Okay, well, if I sound fine, then the connection must be bad.
How are you doing,
guys
dude?
doing? What's up with you guys?
We're all right. We're rocking, bro. We're rocking. How are you guys doing? How's the potential problems podcast doing, dude?
Oh, it's good. Alan's dealing with a severe case of herpes, but other than that, we're good.
Fuck. Slambo's got that too. Our intern has that.
I got it with the trachea.
No, is there some connection, some correlation there by any chance?
I don't know. She's been if he's been with Joni, probably.
He has an 80-something-year-old young girlfriend. So is Alan?
I've been with Joni.
Oh, Joni's a show whore. Oh, Pete was gonna propose too next month, bro.
What was he going to propose? Marriage or just penetration?
Maybe penetration.
I thought penicillin is what he was going to propose.
They both need it.
Usually penetration and then penicillin.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
So who's this Joni broad? She sounds pretty hot.
Sure. Oh, she sounds like she got a trach tube. And
she was voted sexiest woman in 1903.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, she must have been something before electricity.
They had oil lamps to take her picture.
Say, right?
Yes. Oh shit. John, what's going on, dude? You're a comic, right?
I am a comic. Yes, I'm part of Potential Problems podcast. And also, I run an open mic every Monday here in the very prestigious town of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Have you guys ever been out this way, Albuquerque, New Mexico?
No, I've only heard of it from Looney Tunes,
I've been watching Breaking
Bad. Once, a very long time ago.
The common question here is red or green. Have you guys ever heard that? Red or green?
No, dude.
Yeah, so it's red or green chili is what they're asking.
Oh.
If you ever come down here and they say red or green, they mean chili, not meth. So.
Okay, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, what about the blue stuff?
Well, one answer, get your ass kicked. Like, what's the right answer?
Yeah. So there's chili. Someone just asked about the balloon festival. You guys know about the balloon fiesta here?
Heard of that.
No. We have a kite festival.
So there's
We do?
a kite festival?
Yeah, in Belmar every
We
year
do,
there's a
yes.
kite festival. It's pretty cool, man. It's right on the beach.
Oh. Watch the pronunciation on that. You might not get many Germans showing up.
Yeah, really.
They already isolated that group.
Yeah, we've
This podcast is excellent.
This is a very good podcast. Yeah.
So what's that? So what goes on in Jersey there? What do you guys do out there? I know you're podcasting, and a couple of you guys have families, but what else do you guys do out there?
Pete peddles meth.
He peddles meth.
I also fish.
We got some good comedy clubs.
Business good?
Yeah, how's business, Pete?
Business
Booming?
booming.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
There's not a whole lot.
we're
to do
down
in
the
Jersey.
shore, bro, and it's like, ew.
Yeah.
Is that a good spot? Is that a spot for me to vacation?
To vacation, it would be cool.
Yeah, you go to LBI. LBI is kind of cool.
Try to
Yeah.
get yourself a good surf pole, and if you're into fishing at all, there's some good fishing.
Dealing with the pretentious fucks on LBI, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
you can
there
go out
are.
there.
There's a lot of douchebags from up north.
Yeah, they really are.
Cape May is
Give me an
nice.
example of how I would identify a douchebag on LBI.
Like back hair, fake
All right,
tan.
all right,
spray
wait a
on
minute.
tan.
One gold chain with a cross on it.
All right.
A white wife beater. Sides the head shaved with the wave flip hair.
A lot of Drakkar.
A
lot of
Drakkar Noir. A spray on tan.
Girlfriend's got silicone tits.
Oakley's on the back of his head.
Yes.
Upside down.
A
fucking
bad boy
Sleeve
sticker
the
on
back of
his.
someone's head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta have a bad boy sticker on your car.
So that's what I look for when I go out to LBI
Yes.
to kind of avoid, right?
Yeah.
And they usually talk
And
like
it's worse on Seaside.
Oh, yeah.
sleaze. We like to call that sleaze.
And I heard a couple years ago you could also be stabbed like with a syringe. Like people were just stabbing people with syringes.
Yep.
Like it's a fun place, bro.
Sure, they should
like they'll just walk up and stab you with a syringe.
Yeah, or like slice you with a razor blade. There was also one year the cops were painting fake parking spots and then giving tickets. Yes, giving tickets to the people that were parked there because they weren't real parking spots. Yeah, it's a real shady shithole.
You're best off going to LBI if you go down.
Yeah, LBI is better than Seaside
or Sandy Hook.
Oh, nice.
I got a double parking ticket once at Seaside.
What?
Yeah, because I didn't pay the fucking meter, and then I came back and I didn't pay the meter again, and they just slapped another ticket.
They just kept slapping them on. They just made their quota right there. They kept putting tickets.
It's just one fat bitch sitting in that stupid little cart going.
I've had parking problems too here in Albuquerque. The one time I was actually down at the courthouse making an appearance as requested by the judge, and I parked my car. I walked away from it for 2 seconds, and I realized I needed to put money in the meter. I came back. I wasn't 15 feet away from it. They were already putting a ticket on it, and I asked the meter maid. I said, "Hey, can I just put a quarter in there now?" And she said, "No, I've already written it."
Wow.
And she wouldn't go back on it.
Can't take it back.
They put that pen to paper. It's over with.
Dude.
No negotiating out of it.
Wow, what a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, although, you know what? A couple weeks ago, my buddy's car was getting towed, and we asked him, "Hey, man, is there anything you can do to not tow it?" He said, $100 cash.
Yep.
$100 cash. We gave him $100 cash, and he let us out of there, so it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of those fucking tow truck drivers will do that shit. It's
Really?
like,
I never knew that.
Yeah, if they're getting ready to tow your car, you could be like, "Listen, how much is it going to take for you to put the car back down?" And it's usually like $80 or $100.
Wow.
And he just
that's
gets
cool.
to keep that full
Yeah,
cash
pretty much.
pocket
He's just
money.
putting all that money
Yeah.
back in his pocket. That's all.
Nice.
That's it.
That's cool.
That's fucking
dude.
cool.
John, I did see some of your sets, dude. You're funny, man. I liked your. I loved your impression of Michael Buffer and Jesse Ventura, and I loved your bit on what was that? When your kid was gonna kill you. Was that a true story, dude?
What was she doing?
When your daughter, you said you woke up and she was holding a hammer, like right by you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was standing over me creepily, and she just wanted breakfast. So, but I gave her the idea for the hammer, you know.
Oh, okay. Because actually, when I was a kid, I used to sleepwalk, and my parents, they laughed it off. But I was like, I would have put me in like a program or speak to somebody. I walked in sleepwalking with a kitchen knife and asked if anybody wanted to be stabbed.
Wow.
And they just put me in bed. And in the morning, they told me about it. They were laughing about it, dude.
Just real kindly, would any of you like to be stabbed?
Yeah.
Yeah, would you kindly?
Yeah. So.
And you asked them, does anybody want to be sad?
Yeah.
While sleepwalking.
Yeah, and I guess that was like the nice thing to do. I didn't just run in swinging it, so.
Oh yeah.
I was a gentleman about
a polite
it.
sleepwalking stabber.
A polite stabbing sleepwalker.
Yes. Oh well, thanks. Yeah, you know what? I get most of my material from like everyday life or things that I interact with daily, or just experiences, and some of them are embellished. Some of them take a left turn where they really went right. But for the most part, most of that stuff is it starts out with a life experience, and I either, just kind of exaggerate it or try and find a different angle on it,
Yeah, we had another comedian tell us that. Like, you start with something real, and then you just totally embellish on it, and that's the comedic license. I'm like, yeah, dude. I did like, too, your crowd, the way you interact with the crowd is really good, dude.
Oh, hey, thanks. I love doing crowd work. It's a funny thing about crowd work, I'm sure you've talked to other comics, and you guys have talked to a few people that do comedy, but I don't know if they've ever touched upon this as far as it's kind of like frowned upon in most comedy circles. Like if you're doing a gig, traditionally they've had like the opener, the feature, and then the headliner. Mm-hmm. And traditionally they've always told you as the opener, no cussing, no talking to the crowd. Really? As the feature, some cussing, not too much, maybe a couple words to the crowd. And then the headliner pretty much has carte blanche. They could do whatever they want because they're the headliner.
Wow.
And that's just the way it's been for a long time. I know that my friends have done comedy clubs, and here in Albuquerque, there's not a comedy club, so it all pretty much was underground, and then we kind of had to learn as we went and learn on our own. And that was a little bit tricky because there are some comedy etiquette things you don't know, and you have to have people tell you. One of the things that's real simple that no one ever told me until I started doing comedy, and then I was like, oh, yeah, never leave the stage bare. So the comedian should ideally never leave the stage before the MC gets the microphone.
Wow.
And I heard that, and I'm like, wow, that's one of those subtle things that you wouldn't even think of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
when I started doing crowd work and I really liked it, you know, I noticed that it wasn't a thing that a lot of other comics did traditionally, you know? And it was one of those things where I have a buddy, his name's Kurt Fletcher. Shout out to Kurt. He's a very funny comic. He works all over the place. I think this week he's in LA and next week he's in Denver. But I asked him about that, and he said, oh, yeah, you know, if you go up to a comedy club, a lot of comedy clubs, if you start doing crowd work, they will not have you back, you know?
Wow.
And there's this comedian around who runs the local circles. He used to actually run the Laughs in Tucson. His name's Scotty Goff. Great, funny guy. He pretty much, he does almost all crowd work, and he's brilliant at it. And I asked him one time, I said, how does that work with the comedy clubs that don't want you to do crowd work? And he said, you know, I just did it. And when they didn't like it, I said, all right, fine. You don't have to book me again, but that's what I do.
So
wow.
what's an example of crowd work?
Crowd work, so you see a lady with a funny dress, or you see someone wearing something that attracts attention to them. You might, you know, start to ask about their shirt. Hey, what are you doing? Working at a lab later, or what are you doing?
Okay.
You, developing pictures? You know, just come up with a riff that's associated with something they're wearing. But you know, really, that's traditionally I've found they try and leave that for the headliner. You know, the headliner is supposed to have access to all that. I've found that sometimes you can do what they call is like break the audience, where you can kind of like start off with a simple idea, and the audience will kind of like be a little bit more forthcoming or a little bit more welcoming of crowd work. You just don't do a whole lot of it. You just kind of say hello to people, maybe make one simple joke. But as far as like having an extended discussion with the crowd, having an extended discussion with the crowd, that's one of those things where it's frowned upon in most comedy clubs. You know, most comedy clubs, unless you're the headliner, they don't want you talking to the crowd or cursing, you know.
Or just like asking, like, who's seen this or whatever.
I'm curious to why, though. Like, why is that a problem?
You know what? I honestly haven't been doing comedy long enough to give you a really solid why, you know, based on my own observations. But if I had to theorize, I would think that it has to do with the fact that what if you work the crowd too hard and you piss them off? Some people are not really great at
I was thinking too, like upstaging the main. Like you don't want to upstage the main dude.
Exactly. And then some of it is, what if you go out there and you tell a joke that has fuck 15 times in it, and where else does the headliner go after that, you know? It's like they don't want you to be too dirty. Some people say too funny, but I think that's not true. I think if you go out and you're just funny, you're clean, you don't do crowd work, but you kill them, like that's a good thing, even if you outshine the headliner, because it's your talent that is outshining his.
Yeah.
But you know, most of the time, those headliners are headliners because they've been working in the business 20, 25 years. They may not be famous, but they know what they're doing up there, and they can create like half an hour to an hour of material just, you know, being on stage, you know.
Yeah.
I don't understand the don't be too funny thing, because you don't want to bore the crowd. Like,
really. I tell these fuckers all the time to be more funny.
Right,
man. Like, they be more funny.
Usually through a soundbite like that,
Yeah, so there's definitely comedy etiquette things that I never got before. It's kind of like not the tricks of the trade, but more like, I guess, the unwritten rules, if you will, type of thing. So that's something that I was fascinated by, because I love doing crowd work. And if I would have gone to, like, let's say my buddy Kurt had been like, hey, I'm doing a gig down here at this club. Why don't you come up with me and you do some comedy, and we'll see if the bookers like you. Well, if I would have gone up there and just done crowd work, this happened to one of our friends he actually took with him. He went up there, he said one curse word, wasn't even a bad one, and he talked to the crowd for about 5 to 10 seconds. He had a second show later that night, and my buddy Kurt comes over to him after his set, and he says, they don't want you to do the second part of the show. It's cool, man. Just a heads up, don't talk to the crowd too much, and don't curse too much.
Wow, dude.
So that was one of those things that I was like, wow, that really does happen. And Kurt was really nice about it. He's actually kind of like broke it the easiest way possible, but he kind of gave us a heads up on that. And I asked him later, I said, does that really happen? He's like, oh, yeah, it does happen.
Do you find a lot of
crazy things.
I'm sorry, John. I was going to ask, do you find a lot of cool people when you're out of gigs to, like, bring on the show?
Like, people that I just talked to, or
like other comedians, like to bring on as guests. Like, that would be an awesome opportunity, I would think.
For the show, for like doing stand up, or for the podcast?
For the podcast to bring, like, do you want to be a guest, like, to the other comedians?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what? That's probably the reason why we've had so many great guests, is because the way Potential Problems podcast started out was Alan had the know-how, the computer know-how and the technical know-how. He was pretty experienced at media production, because he actually went to high school for that. So he was like this super genius young kid.
Yeah.
And I met him at an open mic, and I know all the open mic comics and some of the other comics that are kind of touring through the area. And I said, hey, let's do a podcast and see how it goes. I know all the local comics, and you have the media know-how, so let's just see how it goes. And
that's awesome. Pretty
much every person that I've done comedy with has been on our show, so it's a huge local scene. We have about, I'd say, 30 to 40 comics. We've had almost all of them on. The only ones we don't have on are the ones that, there might be some reason why we might not have them on. There's a couple of people that we just don't feel secure enough in showing them where we broadcast from. So do you guys broadcast from, like, your own home or something like that?
Slim's house, so I don't give a shit who has I'm like, yeah, come here, rob him. And give me a cut of it, just give me something.
Though we've had issues early on of inviting people in thinking they were cool and them just throwing the whole vibe.
Yeah, we had one dude, and whatever.
What did he do? What did he do?
Tell me. He was real insultive and, real insulting. We, it was more than just, comfortable ball busting, bro.
He was pretty much just being himself.
He was a real jerk off.
He was an insufferable douchebag.
He told me, if anytime I wanted him to leave, just tell him. And I did, dude. And then he got, all in my face and just said, he got all confrontational. And then Slim was a little drunk. It was early on, Slim was like, it's okay, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
And he just went the whole show just insulting guests and fucking us, and dude.
And then he was just a little bitch about when we decided not to ever have him again.
Or put the show up. I was like, dude, the show was crap. Someone back and re-listened. He agreed. And he just deleted it. Never put it out there. And the guy was like really shitty about it, man.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
Don't talk to characters of other radio shows.
Yeah, and then he also told me, it was the best show we ever did, and we were just afraid to put it out there. I'm like, well,
please.
I guess that gem will just never be readily available to anybody, I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Shit, John, we have to wrap this up, dude.
Wow, really? Damn. That went quick.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for having me. Sorry I was calling in a little bit late. But
that's all right,
man. I understand. It happens.
It's all good.
And where can everybody find you, bro?
People can find me on Twitter. I have a picture of me and Jimmy Norton when he came to town to do a show. That's probably my crowning achievement in comedy.
I saw that, dude. Did you perform with him?
No, Kurt Fletcher actually did. I tried to get on that show, but no luck. But Kurt performed on that show, and it was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've seen Jimmy Norton twice, so that's why I have him on one of my favorite comics. Anyway, you can find me on J Cuellar Comedy, JCuellar Comedy, on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, John Cuellar, or Potential Problems Podcast, and on Twitter at Problems Podcast for Potential Problems.
Yeah, man, and your show is great, dude. I love it, man.
Oh, thanks. You guys are awesome. I haven't been able to listen to a whole lot of your show, but I have listened to a couple episodes. You guys are always hilarious. I really like that you guys know what you're doing. And you guys seem like decent, fucking people, which is pretty cool.
Thank you, dude. So do you guys.
Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks, pal. Well, call us if you ever need anything. If you're ever out this way, I'm sure we'll be in touch.
All right, brother.
All right, take care, John.
Take it easy, man.
Have a good one, dude.
Hey, take it easy. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.
You too.